Hi everyone, Charlene Green here with your Jfed today. I'm so excited for my awesome guest. We have today David Portnoe, who is both the editor-in-chief of The Voice and the executive director of The Voice. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so just tell us a little bit about yourself, about your background. Are you in editing originally or?
So, I went to Northwestern University, graduated from the Medill School of Journalism.
Oh, cool.
And am from the East Coast, so I came back east and was really just looking for a job and out of school and came upon The Voice. I actually saw an ad in the newspaper and started here 29 years ago.
Wow.
And have been with The Voice ever since.
That's amazing.
And 9 years ago,
Okay.
When the previous editor, Harriet Kessler, retired, I became the editor of The Voice.
That's awesome that you really stayed here and had a progression here, and that's very cool. So what drew you to journalism in the first place?
I always like to write. I enjoyed writing. I enjoy current events and have always been connected to the Jewish community, very strong Jewish values and education. I didn't set out to be a Jewish journalist,
Okay.
But it's been a great career so far, and I'm looking forward to many more years to come.
Absolutely. So you said Jewish journalist. What different perspective do you think you give versus, a journalist for a non-Jewish paper or?
I think one of the interesting factors about Jewish journalism is we not only report the events of the Jewish community, but we are, in essence, community builders.
Okay.
We're not trying to tear down community institutions or, dig up dirt about people in the community. I don't know of any of my colleagues who are hiding behind, bushes looking for, scandalous things happening in the community. So we're both informers, educators, as well as community builders. The Voice has really two central functions. That part of our mission is to both inform and educate the community about events that are happening locally in Israel, as well as, because we are a Federation-owned newspaper, to report on events and promote the activities of the Jewish Federation and its agencies.
Absolutely. So I think what's really cool about The Voice and about you is you are sort of this hub and this community convener and collaborator, and you get to share. So I feel like you probably have a better perspective on our South Jersey Jewish community than many people. So from your point of view, what does the South Jersey Jewish community look like?
The South Jersey Jewish community is very diverse. It's not only the Federation and its agencies, but The Voice covers basically from the Pennsylvania border and the Delaware River to the shore.
Yeah.
So we have Burlington, Camden, Gloucester counties, Cumberland, Atlantic County, Cape May. It's a very diverse community. We have, there are over 30 synagogues in the area, many Jewish organizations that run the gamut from, the entire religious spectrum to many secular organizations, secular Jewish organizations in terms of B'nai B'rith and or Hadassah organizations like that, as well as day schools. It's a very diverse, vibrant Jewish community. And we're talking about approximately 60,000 Jews in this area. It's a significant community of size.
Absolutely. And what always impresses me, is that it's an active Jewish community. People are involved, as you mentioned, all of the synagogues and the schools, and there's always a place for somebody to be involved, which is, I think, really unique and special about it here.
Everyone can find their place, their niche in the Jewish community. It's no matter really what you're looking for. There's so many ways to get involved, so many ways to connect with the community and become part of, the larger Jewish community and the Jewish people in general.
So tell us a little bit about The Voice, how people get it, where it goes out to, what it covers. So you mentioned that you have quite the geographic range. What else?
There's two basic ways to get The Voice. People who contribute to the Jewish Federation, the annual campaign, that includes a subscription to The Voice for a year.
So contribute, and then you get The Voice.
Contribute, and then you get The Voice. And we do have people who subscribe separately, who, for whatever reason, choose to just do a subscription.
Wonderful.
We also, for the past 2.5 years, have our federation and the Federation of Atlantic and Cape May counties have had an arrangement. There would have been no Jewish newspaper down the shore. So not only do people who subscribe to The Voice contribute to this federation get The Voice, but we also have a similar arrangement with the, although not quite exact, with the Federation down the shore. And we publish and have published for the past 2.5 years Voice at the Shore, a section that runs in every issue of The Voice, and the entire community gets the entire paper. So everyone gets to see what's happening throughout southern New Jersey.
Yeah. So for the section on the shore, is there journalists there, or does your team sort of cover everything?
We have a correspondent on the shore, Ellen Strenger. She's our shore correspondent. And we also have an advertising salesperson who works down the shore. So we have a separate bureau, in essence, down the shore.
Wonderful. And that's you get to cover it all with your amazing team right here at The Voice, that is in the office building at the JCC and the Federation.
Yeah, we do have an incredible staff. There's Jane Feld, the assistant editor. We have Kathy Benetti, our production director, and Denise Yarnall, the production assistant. Jody McMahon, our administrative person, as well as an advertising sales staff, and it's a very good, committed staff, and we do a lot. We publish not only The Voice every 2 weeks, but we publish Connect annually, which is our community guide. We have a magazine, Attitudes, and we also have a very good website, which we're in the process of updating at the moment. And we also have, we're on social media, Facebook, and so we're really a full-service operation.
I love that. I think that whenever I do interviews, I try and get to know the person before. And so whenever I put anyone's name in with South Jersey, their old Voice articles, or that they won an award, or they're new to the job, like the first few hits is always the Voice article introducing them, which is it's very cool.
Well, The Voice has been around for 75 years. Last year was our 75th anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So we were started in 1941 at a time of great activity in the world Jewish community, the tragedy that was happening in Europe, the Holocaust, as well as it was pre-state Israel. So there was a lot happening in the world, and the Federation, with its foresight, decided to start a newspaper.
So The Voice has seen a lot through our Jewish history. Absolutely.
We have.
So I think we're going to end with our rapid fire, our weekly get to know you game. So, are you ready?
Sure.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Are you a morning person or a night owl?
I'm a night owl. I am definitely not a morning person.
We have yet to have a morning person on the show. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Okay. Mini golf or real golf?
Mini golf, since I've never played real golf.
Excellent. If you could buy any type of food right now, what would it be?
I don't know. My favorite food is actually fettuccine alfredo is my favorite meal.
Very nice.
So
All right.
I like a nice Caesar salad, fettuccine alfredo.
Wonderful.
Like
All right, so take David out for Italian food. If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go and why?
I've been to Israel a number of times.
Okay.
Where I haven't been and I'd really like to go is Italy.
Well, obviously, that's a nice connection there.
So Italy, maybe. My wife and I went to England on our honeymoon, and that was nice.
Yeah. Your favorite word?
My favorite word.
Yes.
I have never thought about it, whether I have a favorite word.
The writer in you has too many.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a favorite word.
All right, to be continued on that one. If you could edit any magazine in the world, what would it be? Besides The Voice? Yes. Or Attitude.
I don't know. I've always liked National Geographic. It's a beautiful magazine. It has a lot of interesting history and great photographs. So it might be National Geographic.
Nice. They do a lot of really cool stuff.
They do.
What was your favorite book growing up?
My favorite book growing up. My favorite book growing up. I believe my favorite book growing up, I'm trying to remember what I read. When I was a little kid, I got this book called Flying Aces of World War I.
Okay.
Which was kind of like my first kind of history book, got me interested in history, and I remember reading about, the World War I pilots and the Flying Aces, and I think that was probably my favorite book growing up.
Wow. Well, it led right into your career.
In a way, it did.
Absolutely, a lot of history. And all right, so final challenging question.
Okay.
If you could describe yourself in 3 words, what would they be?
3 words. I am, let's see.
So it's a challenging one.
3 words. Well, I'm a voracious reader, devoted to the Jewish community, and I know this is
all
more
right.
than 3 words.
We'll take it.
And I'm generally an introverted person, but I like to think of myself also as a people person.
Absolutely. Well, welcome to the people. Thank you so much for taking the time and
being
on the show.
Thank you.
And guys, guess what? Next week is our last week for this session, and you will be in for a treat because Matthew Passy is going to step from behind the camera in front of the camera to interview me. A little nervous for our very last show of the season. So thank you to David and thank you everyone, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.